Hi boys and girls, we're going to get ready to start a new book, but first we're going to start with our words, okay? This week we're going to be dealing with the U sound again. We have our short U sound, as in k, cub, and bump. We also have three ways of spelling the long U sound. We have U consonant E, UE, and then EW. Isn't EW a strange way to make the long U sound? But let's listen. Rule, mule, tune. Okay, those are all U consonant E. Our UE, do, glue, true. And then our EW, brew, chew, new, and screw, okay? All of those are ways to explore the U sound. Our short U and our long U. Let's go over them one more time. So our short U, our sound, cub and bump. Our long U sound, U consonant E, rule, mule, tune. UE, do, glue, true. And EW, brew, chew, new, screw. All right, today we're going to start another nonfiction book. It's called If You Lived with the Cherokee by Peter and Connie Roop. This book is divided into chapters, okay? This book is designed to help you connect with what your life would have been like 200 years ago if you had lived with a Cherokee tribe. And so our titles, I'm not going to read them all to you, but who are the Cherokee? What would you look like? What would you wear? Who was in your family? How did people get married? It's stuff like that. So it's to help you connect to what life would have been like if you were living with a Cherokee tribe. So our introduction. Native Americans were the first people to live in what we now call the United States. By 1776, when the United States became a nation, there were about 250 different Native American tribes scattered across the land. Each tribe had its own customs and way of life. The type of food the people ate and the kind of houses they built depended on the climate and the wildlife of the area where they lived. Each tribe had its own language, its own style of clothes, its own religion, its own games. This book tells about how the Cherokee people lived long ago, from the year 1740, 36 years before the United States became a nation, until 1838. During those years, the Cherokee hunted, farmed, made war, and traded throughout the Great Smoky Mountains in America's southeast. At the end of the book, you will read about the Cherokee today. The green section on the map of the United States shows where the Cherokee lived. Okay, and they live down here in the southeast. And this is important to us because right here we have Georgia, okay? Right here. So the Cherokee did live up here in northern Georgia, which is exactly where we live. Who are the Cherokee? The Cherokee call themselves the Aniuwea, meaning the principal people. Long ago, they came from the northeast, home of the Iroquois-speaking tribes, the Huron, the Sinca, the Cayuga, Oneida, Onondaga, and Mohawk nations. When the Cherokee migrated south to the Great Smoky Mountains, they kept the language of their ancestors. For over 1,000 years, the Cherokee enjoyed their mountain homeland. They believed it was the center of the world. They pictured it as an island hanging by 4 cords from the sky. I want you to think about that for a minute. Let's take a sensory moment. Listen again. It says that their home was in the mountains, and they thought of it as an island hanging in the sky. I'm picturing not being able to see over the edges. I guess that must have made them feel safe. Then men from across the ocean came to the Cherokee land. An explorer from Spain named Hernando de Soto was the first person from Europe to meet the Cherokee. That was in the year 1540. De Soto and his men were looking for gold in the mountains. Later, people from England and France came to settle in the area. Cherokee life changed as the Native Americans began to trade with the new settlers. And here's a picture of what it looks like. What was it like to be a Cherokee 200 years ago? What would your home be like? Would you get to play? What clothes would you wear? This book will tell you what it would be like if you lived with the Cherokee. Look at this timeline. The part in color shows the years that this book is about. All right, and I want you to pay attention for a minute. So we're only dealing with this time. So this is when the Pilgrims landed. Okay, so it's after this time, okay? But during this time that's in this book, we have the American Revolution. The 13 colonies become the United States. The United States Constitution is written. Abraham Lincoln is born. The War of 1812. Andrew Jackson is elected the 7th president. Martin Van Buren is elected the 8th president. And then we're going to stop right before 1861 when Abraham Lincoln was elected the 16th president. Okay, so this is the time period that we're going to learn about, and you're going to find out what your life would have been like if you had been living with the Cherokee. So I want you to think about that for a minute. Remember that map I showed you? It's our area, okay? This is our area of North Georgia up into Tennessee, South Carolina. This is the place that's comfortable to us. So they once lived where we live now. All right, and so we're going to find out more about their lives. Thanks for listening.